kitchen is up there. That's quite the red barn right there. Not even barn, it's like a red shop. It's like seriously red. Hey folks, Eric the old Jarhead here. So we headed up to the cabin this weekend to replace the broken sink, the exploding sink. You know, for those of you that have watched my channel, you know that this winter we had a bit of a mishap at the cabin, and the sink kind of exploded. It filled up with water somehow, and the water was inside the hollow spaces in the sink, and it cracked and fell out on the floor and made a big mess, and so we had to clean that up, and couldn't use that sink, of course. So we headed up to the cabin and brought that sink with us so we could get it replaced before our trip next week, which would be with the grandkids. So we headed up to the cabin in my wife's red 2013 Rubicon 4-door. It's got a little more room than the old Jarhead's Jeep, so it's the old Jarhead's wife's Jeep. But it does good off-road. It's got a 2.5 or 3-inch AEV lift with 35 by 12.5 tires. So it's got some ground clearance, and obviously, as you can see here, the road was typical dirt road, not any major four-wheeling that we had to do to get up to the cabin. But it's always fun to film going up to the cabin because it's just so beautiful, just an awesome place to get to, and we love driving up there as much as we like being there. It's about a 3-mile drive from the paved road to get up to the cabin, and you know, usually you might see some deer or something along the way, grouse, rabbit. I've seen bear, coyote, moose, even chased a moose down. So it's really awesome having a place out here. One thing about going up here is our driveway is really steep. The video doesn't do justice to what you're seeing, you know, when you're in the vehicle, but it's very steep, and it's got a drop off to the side. And we were surprised by some whitetail. They were just hanging out, and I don't really see whitetail very often up at the cabin. Usually I see muley, so it was kind of fun to see the whitetails. There was a lot of them. I think there had to be at least about 8. There's a deer straight ahead, I think. Yep. Straight ahead.
This is good.
A couple of them, huh? It's always great to drive in and see everything that looks good and okay at the cabin. You know, with it being so far away, even though we do have some neighbors nearby, I always kind of have that little bit of anticipation when coming through the gate and seeing the cabin and just kind of checking things out, make sure everything's okay. And so you're always in this kind of mode of what's going on and who's been there, that kind of stuff. So we got out there and you know, got packed in, and of course we got it. Once we arrive, you know, you got to turn the power on and make sure everything's okay. And so once you get there, you know, you got to turn on the power, make sure everything's okay. I always leave the lights on, so when I turn the power on, the lights are already on when I walk into the cabin, and you know, then I turn the auxiliary heat on, open up all the curtains to get more light in, and you know, then get that wood stove going, get the place warmed up. It was actually pretty warm out. I would say it's probably in the 50s, so it wasn't really bad when we got there. You know, a lot of times you'll see on channels where they say that you should clean everything out of the wood stove and have it all ready to go, so when you get there and it's cold, it's all ready to go. In this case, you know, I'm usually running the wood stove right up until we leave, and so I've always got to kind of go in, get it cleaned out, get that stove primed, and because it has two 90-degree bends in it, I've got to actually prime the stove with paper, and so you know, I throw a few wads of newsprint in there and then light those off to get it warm inside the wood stove. Once the stove is warmed up, you know, then I can go ahead and get a regular fire going. And I always use dryer lint with flint and steel to get the, you know, to get the wood stove going, and that works really good. And then generally I leave it going most of the time. And I will say that, you know, having a wood stove is a great thing. It's awesome. But you always got to remember there's always going to be dust from the ash when you clean it out. That's just the way it goes. So it's something you live with a wood stove. There's always going to be some ash. You're always going to have to clean it up. That's just part of the equation. And I do need to finish the bricks around the wood stove. I never actually got it done. You know, I installed it and I got the fresh air intake in the back, and you know, I got all that in, but I never got the bricks put in, and I'm hoping to get those done this spring. It's one of those things where I just have to clean the bricks up with a wire wheel or something like that, and then I can mortar them all in and get that finished off. So a lot of things about this cabin are not finished. I know it's been a lot of years. It's been 12 years in the making. But, you know, it's one of those things where it's kind of a labor of love. You go up, you do a little bit of work, and then, you know, you get it done. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and let this video run and get that sink replaced. So hope you enjoy it. And hey, if you like this video, do me a favor, hit that like button. I'd really love it. It kind of spreads those around, helps the channel out, and more videos coming. But for now, we're gonna get this wood stove going. We're gonna get the cabin warmed up, and I'm gonna replace that sink. So stand by while I get things sorted out and get working on that sink. Once I got kind of figuring out what needed to be done, I mean, I put this sink in, so it shouldn't be that complex. But you know, it's been a lot of years, so you kind of have to look around and see what needs to be done. And of course, the first thing that happens is you go take the P-trap off, and you better put a towel under it because it's going to leak all over the place. But you know, you get that, you dump it out, you you know, pull all the lines off, and then of course you pull the stove out, right? Well, remember I said there was a bunch of water in it? Well, guess what? There's still a bunch of water in it. Up and haul it out of here. Oh shit!
Oh, it's you, God.
Yeah, not the best scenario. My wife wasn't real happy with the mess, but we got it cleaned up, and you know, and then I tore the old sink apart and got the new one put together. All right, kind of gross. This thing's sharp. Now, one thing, you know, I've had, and you might have heard me mention in past videos, I haven't had any cold water in the bathroom. And so I was always thinking that the line itself was plugged, and it was kind of interesting to find out it's not actually the line, but it was the tap itself. You know, I was just blowing on either side to make sure they were working, and it turns out one wasn't working. So I'm going to have to pull that apart and put that back together again and fix whatever is blocking that cold water side, and then we'll have cold water in the bathroom again. That'd be kind of nice. So, you know, you get in there, you throw the sink on, you put the P-traps and the lines in and everything else, and it's going to be really nice having that sink back again. All right. Got the exploding sink fixed. So now I'm going to turn the water on, but before I turn the water on, I got to get in the back room and make sure we're okay back here. All right. So it is tight. Water shut off. Water's on. First thing we do is check back here. Make sure there are no leaks. Plug this light in. Gives me a little light, not much. Alright. No leaks. Okay. First thing I gotta do is get that water turned on and then check and make sure nothing's leaking. Or we end up with a big mess. Springtime at the cabin. Make sure nothing's leaking under here. I don't have a light anymore. See if that just dry seals. Sometimes the seals are just dry. Turn the hot on. It's leaking. No, nothing's leaking. You can see anyway. Ooh, water's hot. Getting there. And here we go. Put that away. Get back in there. Check the back room one more time. Oh gosh, buddy. Okay. Uh-oh. A little water here. Not sure where from. That's the hot side. Cold goes in. I almost wonder if I have a break here. Well, nothing major. That pipe is looking a bit ugly, huh? Needs to be cleaned up. Real? I think it was just from the initial startup. Feels kind of frozen in here. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll be headed back up there next week, but I got another video I'll put together of this weekend's trip up at the cabin. It was a very short trip, but it was just so awesome being out there that I have to tell you that, you know, you gotta do things you enjoy in life, and one of the things I love is being at the cabin, listening to all the birds and the chipmunks and the squirrels and whatever else is going on out there. It's just so peaceful. It's so awesome. I love being out there. So thanks for watching. Look for another video to pop real soon, and then I'm gonna be up there for like a week coming up doing a bunch of milling. So we'll have some sawmill videos coming your way soon, so hang in there. Thanks for watching. The old Jarhead out.